All right, you guys, hi and welcome. I am so glad you're here for Golden Fuel, how senior athletes can boost strength, recovery, endurance with smarter nutrition. If you're over 50 and you want to train longer, recover faster, or just feel stronger, this session is for you. I'm going to share 4 nutrition breakthroughs that can help senior athletes go from stuck to setting personal best. I'll also show you the exact strategy I have been using with competitive athletes over 50, so you can stop guessing and start winning stronger. So let's get started. Hopefully, we're going to get started. All right. So let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed your recovery just isn't the same as it used to be? Or maybe you're training harder than ever, but not getting better. Or worse, you're doing everything right and still crashing halfway through your workout, your race, or even just your day. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something important. You're not alone. I work with senior athletes across the country, from competitive pickleball players to age group triathletes to recreational warriors who refuse to slow down. And across the board, I hear the same struggles. Muscle loss, no matter how much strength I do. Lingering soreness that sticks around for days. Sudden fatigue or unexpected illness just when you start to feel the momentum. And the most frustrating of all, that feeling that your effort isn't just enough anymore. Now, here's the most, here's what most people get wrong, is they think this is just part of getting older. Or that maybe their body just can't handle the same output anymore. I'm here to tell you the truth. It's not age. It's not motivation. It's not too late. It's nutrition. And that means it's fixable. Today, I'm going to show you how to fix it. 4 proven science-backed breakthroughs that I've used to help athletes that in their 50s, 60s, 70s come back stronger, recover faster, and go longer with less pain and more joy. At this point, you might be wondering, okay, this all sounds promising, but who are you and why should I trust you with my performance and health? Well, I'm Dawn Weatherwax. I'm a registered and licensed dietitian and athletic trainer, and I'm certified in strength and conditioning. But more important than all my credentials, I bring you I bring you what truly moves the needle: science-backed, data-driven, real-life results. I don't guess, I test. Because after 50, your body has different needs and guessing doesn't work anymore. That's why I've advanced personalized testing, including metabolic testing to reveal exactly how much energy your body needs. That's calories, fuel. Muscle fuel scans to identify how much fuel or your muscles store and how much they use the energy. Body composition analysis, so we know if you're gaining lean weight or losing strength. Sodium and hydration testing to prevent fatigue, cramping, and or poor recovery. Gut health testing to improve digestion, immunity, and energy. And I do review blood work to detect deficiencies and track improvements, or even recommend blood work. These tools help us unlock more strength, faster recovery, better endurance, and real results without wasting time, money, or energy. For over 20 years, I've helped athletes from Olympians to senior Olympians to active adults just like you reach higher levels of performance through smarter nutrition and strategy. You may have seen me on Good Morning America, in Shape Magazine, or national publications. And I'm also the creator and host of Food for Speed TV, which is a national TV show that's coming soon, developed to help young athletes age 6 to 18 fuel properly. But the science I teach there is the same foundation I use to help you build strength, protect your joints, improve recovery, and feel your best at any age. My mission is clear: to help you fuel smarter, train longer, and win stronger, or train longer and win stronger with a strategy that is tailored to your body based on your data. Because strength doesn't stop at age 50. Smarter nutrition is the unlock, and test is the shortcut. So what are the 3 biggest mistakes that I see amongst my senior athletes? So let's get real for a second. I've seen these mistakes derail even the most passionate, most dedicated senior athletes, and it breaks my heart. But the good news, every single one of them is completely fixable. So what is mistake number 1? It's guessing or skipping fuel. I hear this all the time. I hear that I wasn't that hungry. I didn't want to eat too close to my training. I wasn't sure what to eat, so I just skipped it. Sound familiar? Or here's the truth. If you're training without fueling, it's like expecting the car to run without gas. Your body needs the right nutrition before, during, and after the movement, especially after 50. And when you guess, you're leaving strength, energy, and recovery on the table. Okay, so mistake number 2, blaming soreness and fatigue on age. So many of my clients come to me saying, well, this just won't happen. This just won't happen when you get older, right? Or, well, this is just what happens when you get older, right? I've heard that many times. Wrong. Soreness that lingers for days, energy that crashes mid-afternoon, muscles that don't bounce back, that's not just aging. That's a fueling and recovery issue. When you optimize your protein, your healthy carbs, your healthy fats, your electrolytes, your hydration, and muscle repair strategy, you start bouncing back faster, no matter what your age. All right, mistake number 3, waiting until injury or burnout to change. And this is many people. Unfortunately, a lot of my senior athletes reach out after they've hit the wall: injury, burnout, or exhaustion. But what if we flip the script? What if you had proactive game plan, not just to heal, but to prevent? Because here's the truth: muscle loss, joint breakdown, dehydration, even immune dips, they're all connected to how you fuel and recover. And every one of them can be improved if you stop waiting. Let's get clear. These aren't age problems. They're fueling problems. And that's the best news, because that means they're fixable. All right, so here, let me introduce to you now. If you're still with me after all that, you're probably thinking, okay, Dawn, I get it. Nutrition matters, but why? But what should I do exactly? Well, let me show you exactly my strategy that I've used to help senior Olympians, everyday athletes over 50, and even world champions fuel smarter, recover faster, and stay active for decades. It's called the FUEL method. FUEL method. And it's not a diet. It's a strategy to thrive over 50. Okay, so F stands for fortify, strength, and recovery. As we age, muscle loss is not inedible, but it can be common if we don't act. That's why we focus on strategic protein with enough leucine and smart carbs and healthy fats to maintain lean mass or gain muscle mass back, speed up healing, and bounce back from workouts instead of being sore for days. I call that muscle endurance because every decade over 40, we naturally lose 3 to 8% of our muscle mass unless we fuel to fight back. Okay, it stands for unlocked endurance. You shouldn't have to choose between doing what you love and crashing afterward. Most senior athletes hit energy walls not from age, but from poor timing of fuel. We optimize daily energy, which is calories, if you want to know what that means, and teach you exactly when to eat before, during, and after activities so you can stay strong from start to finish. E is enhance your protection. The pillar supports the parts of you that take the biggest hits over time: your joints, bones, and immune system. We make you getting the right nutrients like calcium, magnesium, omega-3s, vitamin D based on your labs and needs. And we use food first, not guesswork, to reduce inflammation and protect your body long term. L is leverage the brain and body focus. This is the most overlooked performance edge: mental clarity and reaction time. Hydration, omega-3s, creatine, and antioxidants don't just help the body, they help the brain. Whether you're in a pickleball match or a track event, focus wins races. And let's be real, forgetfulness, sluggishness, or brain fog is often a hydration or nutrition issue, and neurological sometimes, not aging. So again, fuel is not a diet. It's a smart, science-based backed roadmap that I have tailored for athletes over 50 to help you feel stronger, faster, and sharper every day. Because of that goal, because the goal isn't just to compete, it's to thrive in sport, in life, in every chapter after 50. So, step 1 of the fuel system, FUEL method, is where most senior athletes fall short, but it's also where you get the biggest gains to happen. You want to build strength and recover faster. Now, a lot of people think muscle loss is just aging, but the truth is it's usually under fueling and under resistance training, but for the truth, it's usually under fueling after activity. When you move, you break down muscle. If you don't eat the right combo in 30 to 45 minutes, you will miss the body's prime window to recover and build. Here's the formula. You need at least 20 grams of protein and at least 30 grams of carbs after the activity. Longer, 30 to 60 grams of carbs. Now, I also like healthy fats at this point. It's not mandatory, but it is my preference to reduce soreness and protect your joints. Now, it's that simple and it's that powerful. So what could this look like? You want to try like Greek yogurt and with berries and walnuts. If you can't do, if you're doing plant-based, there is a Kite Hill yogurt that I like because it's low in added sugar. If you can't do walnuts, then do sunflower seeds, chia seeds. You could do a banana with almond butter and a protein shake. It could be eggs, an avocado sandwich on sprouted bread. And for even better results, and add resistance training 2 to 3 times a week and track your body composition, not just weight. It's about leanness. It's not about lightness. That's how we know you're building real strength, not just guessing. You want to fuel right and recovery gets faster. Strength goes up and age stops being the excuse. Step 2, you want to energize your performance. Have you ever hit a wall mid-event, or even though you trained, even though you thought you did everything right, that moment where your body just doesn't have the juice to finish strong? Here's the truth. No one tells senior athletes. That's not a fitness problem. It's a fueling problem. So step 2, energize performance. Real energy doesn't start when the event begins. It starts days before. When it starts daily, what you eat, drink, and absorb. I test this with my clients. I measure metabolism and even scan how much muscle fuel you actually have with the technology like Muscle Sound, because guessing doesn't cut it anymore. Not if you want results. Your carbs, complex carbs, healthy fats, fluids, and electrolytes, they're your base fuel every single day. Your pre, during, event fuel, that's how you fine tune your performance. For example, 60 minutes before, have a banana, almond butter, and electrolytes. Electrolytes is salt mainly. That could be just salt. It could be a liquid IV. It could be Gatorade. So those are options there. It's simple, powerful, and it works. That isn't about surviving the event. It's about finishing strong. That's how champions fuel. Now, let's talk about something most athletes forget until it's too late. Protection. Recovery isn't just about the muscle. It's about your bones, your joints, and your immune system. And they all take a hit with age and intense activity. Ever notice more stiffness, a random tweak or joint pain that lingers longer than it used to? Or maybe you keep getting sick right before the competition. That's not bad luck. That's your body asking for backup. Here's the good news. There are specific nutrients that act like armor for your body. These are my non-negotiables, omega-3s, mainly from EPA and DHA. That is the main components of omega-3s. They come from fatty fish and algae, and they fight inflammation head on. Most people need to supplement, and I'd actually recommend that. Vitamin D3 plus K2 if you don't eat meat or dairy, calcium if you're not getting enough calcium a day, and magnesium if you're not getting enough. Vitamin D comes from food and sun. You cannot eat enough vitamin D. They work together to help bones dense and strong. Keep them dense and strong. Collagen with vitamin C. Wonderful for joints. Think of it as scaffolding for your joints and your tissues. And it also just helps with your fascia and the matrix of your whole body. And don't skip the gut, because 70% of your immune system lives here. That means fiber, glutamine, collagen, probiotics are just nice to have. They're essential. I often say, you don't just train to perform, you fuel to stay in the game. This is how senior athletes stay ready to compete, not just today, but year after year. Step 4. Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked, but absolutely critical, is your brain. Because when it comes to sports and performance, it's not just about strength or stamina. It's about staying sharp, reacting fast, and thinking clearly. Whether you're on the court, in the pool, or facing everyday life, And here's the most important thing for senior athletes that they don't recognize. Your brain and reflexes need fuel too. So how do we stay sharp? First, omega-3, specifically EPA and DHA. These powerful fats help protect your brain, reduce inflammation, and even support mood and memory. You can get that from fatty fish like salmon or algae if you're plant-based. Second, antioxidants like colorful foods like berries, oranges, turmeric, even red cabbage. These fight off oxidative stress, and that is like rust for your brain. Third, hydration. Yes, water. And it doesn't have to be just water, but even slight dehydration can affect reaction time. If you're 1% dehydrated, reaction time can be decreased up to 10%. 76% of people wake up and go to their first function of the day 1% dehydrated, and 66% are 1% dehydrated the rest of the day. Pretty powerful, just being properly hydrated. And it affects your reaction time, memory, and coordination. I always say, if you're thirsty, you're already behind. And you're behind 2 to 4% dehydrated if that happens. And here's your bonus tip. 2 powerful tools, brain tools. Creatine. Most people know it for muscles, but it also supports mental clarity, especially as we age. And another one that's so new, it's only 2 years out, is called Super Patch Technology, a game-changing, wearable, drug-free, medicine-free, supplement-free, no allergenic that taps into your body's own neurology, and it's listed in your bonus toolkit at the end. So we'll check it out after the talk. So remember, if you want to be fast, you have to think faster. You want to win, you have to focus. That's why the step 4 in the fuel method is all about keeping your brain and body in sync and sharp for life. So let me share a quick story about that might sound familiar. Mike, 62 years old, dedicated, trained 5 days a week, did everything right, but still felt stuck, sluggish, sore, and frustrated. He came to me saying, I'm not improving anymore. Maybe it's just my age. But here's what I told him. It's not your age. It's your fuel. So we did what I always recommend. We tested his metabolism, not guessed. We measured body composition and fuel levels, not just weight. Then we personalized his fueling strategy. No fads, just science. And guess what happened? Mike didn't train harder. He fueled smarter. He recovered faster. His energy was steady. No more crashing midweek. And he placed higher than ever at his next competition. That's the power of strategic fueling. When your body gets what it needs, it responds no matter what age. Imagine what's possible when your plan is built for your body, your sport, and your stage of life. Why this matters now. Let me ask you something. Have you ever trained hard, stayed consistent, and felt like your body was dragging? You're not imagining it. When you fuel wrong, that's what happens. Soreness that lingers, progress that plateaus, fatiguing that suddenly sidelines you. You might even start wondering, is this just aging? But here's the truth, and it's powerful. The real difference between those who show up podium ready and those who wind up burned out or benched is not more training, it's nutrition. When your fueling is dialed in, your body recovers faster, your energy sustains longer, and that keeps and your strength keeps building, no matter what your age. And that's exactly why I created the fuel method, because the difference between thriving and surviving after 50 is not guesswork, it's strategy. So by now you've seen what's really going on. You've seen where the gaps are, and you've seen how right fuel at the right time with the right strategy can transform your strength, recovery, and endurance. Now you have two choices. You can try to figure it out on your own. You can keep searching online, guessing what to eat. It costs time, money, and often ends in frustration or shortcut. Option 2, your shortcut to the confusion. You use testing, proven science, and a system built for athletes just like you. So your next win doesn't feel like guesswork. Your next breakthrough doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be smart. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So we choose your next step, right? So there's 3 options. 30 minutes to uncover your biggest mistake and fix it fast. So let's talk about the ways that we can move forward, right? 3 powerful options. And that first one that I just said, it's a 30 to 40 minute private session where we dive into your top performance blocker and fix it fast. Think energy crashes, soreness that lingers, or weight that won't budge. We'll definitely we'll identify the gap and build your plan of attack. And perfect if you want clarity without wasting time. Step 2 is our performance profile. Obviously, somebody's in California, so we could definitely do something different and customize, but this is your full body diagnostics and what I recommend if you're ready to stop guessing and start testing. This is definitely if you're local, but if I do work with people everywhere in the United States. Is metabolic testing, that's our Med Gym. We do a muscle fuel scan, that's our Muscle Sound. Body composition analysis, we use a bod pod, and we do a nutrition and supplement consult and a lab review if you have your labs available. I do not ask for you to get the labs before you see me though, because usually I usually ask for other ones. So I wouldn't waste time trying to get them to talk to me first. I actually save you time and money if you wait. So for today, for those who book today, bonus 1, if you pay today and get a customized performance fueling menu built specifically for you, body training and recovery goals. Schedule your session and choose. If you just schedule, if you schedule today, you just DM me, text me, call me, whatever. You will actually get unlimited bod testing for a year, or 1 follow-up muscle scan for free within 2 months of your initial profile. These bonuses are limited though. There's only so many and only available for the first to book. Once they're gone, they're gone. And there is a replay. So due to this being recorded and replayed, bonuses are only valid for the next 30 days. Okay. So if you're interested, DM me, or if you want to schedule, but we have to get this going in the next 30 days. And then the Golden Transformation Path, my full 6-month solution, details on the next slide here. You can message me directly as well about all of this. So this one includes the performance profile, weekly check-ins by text, phone, or Zoom, 6 monthly in-person sessions, unlimited menu updates, monthly coaching, access to my academy, and supplement and hydration strategies, and optional labs. It's not included, but things that you might want to add into. The value is $2,000, but your investment, if you invest tonight, is half price, or $225 a month for 6 months. You pay today, you get 1 extra month, or I actually will do sodium testing for free, but we must start in the next 30 days. I'm the boss, so if there's an exception, you can always ask. But the live bonus ends today for the sessions. So for the ones, a free customized menu or complimentary sodium testing, if that's the live bonus. So again, I'm in the Zoom chat, or message me to claim that. Watch the replay. Again, check if the bonuses are still available, and they are time sensitive. All right. So we move this up. So basically, those are just the breakdown of the options there. Okay. So 91 is just, hey, I just have a question, kind of want to see how to work it out. Next one is if you're local. If you're interested and you're not local, I will figure out something to make it work for you if you wanted to do more together. Okay. All right. So here's some free gifts for you. If I am actually going to copy and paste this. Let's see if I can do this. Just in case you can't get to it, I am going to copy and paste these in the chat. So this is this list that I put together for if you're looking for the cleanest and cheapest protein shake you need. So they're scientifically backed, budget-friendly, no artificial junk in these. And I do have plant-based and animal-based product that helps recover faster, boost your muscle strength, costs, well, I don't know if all of them cost less than $1, but zero artificial colors, flavors, or fillers for most of them. Okay. And then the other thing is free, and I'm going to copy and paste this. So you can, I don't have a QR code, but I'm going to copy and paste this and put this in the chat, and this is free. Super patches are brand new. I'm moving my computer here for a minute. But these I'm really excited about because I've personally seen differences with strength. I've seen difference with not being a sore. My brain definitely has been more clear. I struggle with slower metabolism, and so I've used the Ignite. But just so you know, because most people have no idea about these, but I just found out about them 6 weeks ago, and they've only been out for over a year. But it's hard to see, but they're fingerprints. And if you put your hand over the stove, you can feel the heat without touching it. Our skin has so many sensories. So this guy is trying to solve multiple sclerosis because his mom has it. It's been a 15-year journey. And this is one of the things that's come out of it. So all you do is, it's just a sticker. It's no drugs. It's no medicine. It's no supplements. There's no contraindications. You can't be allergic to it. You just put it anywhere on skin that you have feeling. So if you know anybody with neuropathy, they can't put it on that spot where they can't feel. And that the skin will read that QR code or the fingerprint that goes to the spinal cord, that goes to the brain. And then it tells all those neurons in that part that QR code is to shake all its little dust webs off. And so then everything else can work itself. It sounds bizarre. It sounds crazy, but there really is research to support this. You're going to see Division I athletes using this next year because the research study is coming out that they use on football players. And they saw up to an 18% increase. Just one training they did, one time they did one training, like lifting and some other things. And then they, the next day they showed up, they put the patch, they did the exact same thing, and they showed up to an 18% increase in force, power, and strength. There's stuff for stability and balance. There is stuff for healing. There's stuff for your gut health. There is for your brain if somebody struggles with ruminating thoughts or ADHD, ADD, the list goes on and on. Very effective. Personally, I have with the Victory. Victory patch. I do the Ignite. You always want a base patch. The Victory or Liberty, and then whatever else. I highly recommend that. And do not stop for a minimum of 30 days consistently. The research, though, is very promising, though. The longer you use it, at least up to 8 months, the better things get better. If I had I think it's $30,000 or $50,000 device to measure this, I would, and I'm actually trying to get my hands on it because it's so awesome. And it's something that it really changes people and their outcomes and what's happening neurologically. No drugs, no medicines, no supplements, no contraindications. So you got that, and it's a free download for like it's my like Super Patch competitive, how you would use it for competition. I'm happy to talk more about it. You can tell I really went off script on this one, right? That's why I went on script just for everybody because of this. I blah, 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 and then I get off kilter. Okay. So what's next, you guys? I want to answer your questions. I book your session if you'd like to do that, or reach out to me, and let's just see what fits your goals. I want to say thank you so much for having me today. I really, really appreciate it. And now let's open it up for any questions that you guys have on anything about this topic. So it might be something I didn't bring up or what to do. So but let's just make this next chapter of whatever you have your strongest yet. Thank you so much for your time today. All right. Anybody want to have any questions? On mic yourself. I'm happy to answer anything that you might have.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Prior to exercising, I see you note 60 minutes prior. Is there a mix of protein, carbs that you're supposed to concentrate on prior to exercise versus or your competition versus after?
Yeah. So give me a scenario of a time that you might work out, or your scenario, and I can guide you better.
I play competitive softball, senior softball.
Nice. Okay.
And sometimes, sometimes you play a game, sometimes you play two, which could be 3.5 hours.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, staying hydrated is pretty important. I use the liquid IV.
Love it.
Um, but I've always been puzzled about, okay, is it carbs beforehand or is it protein? Which one will stay with me longer
Can you
during
tell
that?
me,
Go ahead.
yeah, can you tell me what time it normally starts? Like,
In
I know it
the
might changes, but
in the morning, 9 o'clock.
okay. And what have you been doing? So what has been your strategy?
Eating 2 hours before the first pitch. Um, Obviously, a lot of stretching. Um,
And what do we have?
I bounce back and forth.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's protein, sometimes it's carbs.
Okay.
That's
So
so I
give me give me an actual situation of what you've done, and I will fine tune it for you.
all right. An egg, fried egg, a piece of cheese, uh, uh, maybe some turkey in the morning before I head out.
Okay. And how much
Um,
fluid would you drink at that time?
Typically it's just coffee.
Okay. How much?
Well, I mix it 50-50, decaf, regular, probably
And
three
then,
three
and do,
cups,
and do you drink it plain, or how do you take your coffee?
just a little bit of cream.
Okay. And then, what do you do from that time to the game or throughout the game?
Sometimes on the way to the game, I might drink you know, a I guess an energy enhancement drink. It's nothing heavy duty like uh, some of the over the top ones, but
Mhm.
something that has maybe the equivalent of a cup of caffeine in it.
And then anything else? Do you just hydrate throughout? Do you?
Yeah, just hydrate throughout. Maybe about probably about I think my container is 4 cups. I think it's probably 8 cups that I drink during that period of time.
And how long does it use? I mean, I know it can differ, but what's like the minimum and max a game is gone?
Uh, Sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 3 hours.
And then do you have doubles? You have a double back to back, you said?
Those an hour and a half and an hour and a half. So that would be two
Okay.
games, three
Okay.
hours.
So here's the thing. Softball definitely is easier to eat because you're not jostling around, you're not running around for 30 minutes or like 60 minutes continuously. Running is probably one of the harder ones to fuel, and where some people have to be careful, but you definitely need way more fuel and you need way more balance. Because when you wake up in the morning, we wake up dehydrated because we lose fluid while we sleep and we lose carbs while we sleep. One rule of thumb is I always recommend a minimum of 32 ounces of fluid the first 3 hours of the day. Now, with your coffee and that, you hydrate, you don't need that energy drink. And here's why, because you're drinking enough coffee that has enough caffeine in it. So you don't need an energy drink because it's not gonna, if you're looking for something else for value, I'll go back to that. But let's go back to breakfast. You need way more fuel because you got to eat breakfast to fuel. You're going to work out and train, or you're competing for, by the time you get there, warm up, stretch, right? At least 2.5 hours. You have a double header. And now we're up to, that's 4.5, 5 hours because of stretching and then warm down, cool down. So you got to eat way more fuel. For instance, you would switch that to it could be 3 eggs, and it could be on a Dave's Killer Bagel and a banana. And then it's eggs. You might even add a tablespoon of olive oil or avocado oil, because you want to, I like protein spread out because I just get the best results. There's stuff now saying, oh, you can lump it all. I don't like that. There's too many factors: blood sugar, hormones, hunger. So as an athlete, I like the protein spread out, and most people need, on average, it's different, 21 to 28 grams of protein 4 to 5 times a day, depending on the person and the individual. That's 3 to 4 ounces. If you're at like a size of a deck of cards. So 3 eggs is roughly 18 grams of protein. Now, I'm not worried about the yolks because they have choline and lecithin in it. If you don't want to do so much eggs, you could do 1 egg and 2 ounces of ground chicken or ground turkey. You could do Canadian bacon, which is just lean ham. And you could, like an English muffin, and you could do it on an English muffin. But the trick is, I want you to get some healthy fats: nuts, seeds, peanut butter, olive oil, avocado oil, salmon. Those things, the body loves healthy fats. The brain loves healthy fats. The gut loves healthy fats, unless you have something medical that's denying that part. But most people, you are leaner. The body, it decreases inflammation and it keeps your levels constant. And if you eat the healthy fats, the carbs can go into the muscle. Protein is like, think of it, it does sustain you, but think of it as the shell of the muscle. And then you got to fuel the muscle. And that comes from carbs and fats, not from protein. Protein does not like to be used to hit a ball, does not like to be used to run to first base. It's the carbs and the healthy fats. And so that's how you well round that. So you could do a Dave's Killer English muffin with an egg and 2 slices of Canadian bacon. You can put some olive oil or avocado oil even on the toast, because that's what Spaniards do. And they even put some type of it's not marinara, but tomato on it, and then ham. I'm like, oh, that's going to taste so good. But you can even put olive oil or avocado oil on your toast, like Subway. They put olive oil and vinegar, but hardly anybody does that anymore. I like that, but I don't do that on my own sandwich. And a piece of fruit, and then you could have your coffee. Now, I also like 500 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium that first 3 hours in the morning, because athletes sweat. Athletes lose up to 200 to 400 milligrams of sodium per pound of sweat, but people could lose 200 milligrams of sodium per pound of sweat, up to 2,000 milligrams of sodium per pound of sweat. I'm going to say that again. You could lose 200 milligrams of sodium per pound of sweat, up to 2,000 milligrams of sodium per pound of sweat. Salt is not death. We need salt. It's just that if you eat out a lot, or you eat a lot of packaged, it's usually very high in salt. And here's why. I mean, you don't want salmonella. You don't want to get food poisoning. We ship foods from coast to coast. If you don't do that, it's not probably going to stay. Salt is a preserver. Anybody in the olden days, if you can foods, it's like jerky, it helps preserve. So please don't look at salt as death. if you're active, you sweat out, and it's not potassium, it's not magnesium, it's not calcium, it's salt. So the salt helps bring the water out of the bloodstream into the muscle cell. Otherwise, you just pee it out, okay? Because you can't have high blood pressure. So the kidneys control that. And it senses all this fluid coming in, like water, and water dilutes sodium. And I love water, but you got to have enough salt. It comes from food, it comes from salt, it comes from product. So I like that liquid IV. You could put that in your coffee if you wanted. Now, to address your pre-workout, there's 2 pre-workouts that you could do. I'm here at my office. I don't have the pre-workout product. Let's see. I did a talk and everything. Okay, so Clean Athlete, KLEAN Athlete, has a pre-workout that's beets. Oh, oh my gosh, older athletes, beets are great. Beet juice, beet powder is wonderful. It's nitric oxide. It increases blood flow. It helps the arteries relax. If you have high blood pressure, it actually might lower that. Okay. It's a great pre-workout because it increases blood flow, more nutrition, more oxygen to where you need it. So to me, I like Clean Athlete pre-workout, or it's called Resync Recovery. And if you DM me, I have a coupon code. I'll just type it in. It's called Resync. So Resync. I don't get anything from this, or I guess I don't know, I get something from it. But if you want to use the coupon code, you get a discount. So it's Resync products. I'm typing this in, and it's the Resync Recovery. Let me see if I have it here. I keep forgetting. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. Okay. All right. And it's their beet product. And if you just use the coupon code DawnW, you get a little money off of it. Oh my gosh. My parents love it. Adults love it. The adults, to hear when you have adults say, I feel a difference. That product, it's awesome. It's NSF Sports certified. There's another product called Beet It, BEET, and they're little shots. But it's just, if you want to do beet juice, that's fine. 8 to 16 ounces of beet juice. Just not very many people would like to drink that prior to that. And other people are like, oh, I like that. I'm like, okay, well then it has to be 100% beet juice. Don't buy something that has something mixed into it. So that just helps increase. And that one will have bees in it too. And bees do help the brain. A bee complex with your coffee, if you really wanted to go there. So those are things. And then you have to keep hydrating. So understand, have a method of madness after, the 32 ounces, preferably within those 2 hours, because I think that's a good rule of thumb. And then during, it just depends on how much you sweat. But it's safe to say 10 to 20 ounces of fluid an hour. And it's probably safe to say, if you're done in an hour and a half, you don't need electrolytes per se. But if you never know how long this thing is going to go, then do a liquid IV and 32 ounces of fluid. And then if you go in a double header, softball, you can eat. So I would bring some trail mix, and I would bring 1/4 of a cup of sunflower seeds and 1/4 of a cup of dried cherries. There's one with cashews and dried cherries. Oh, it's so yummy. 1/4 of a cup of that. The healthy fats stay constant. The cherries give you some carbs. Protein doesn't really, it is not being used for energy, but if it's lunchtime and you're still playing, you can nibble on stuff and you'll be fine. You could do a protein bar if you needed to. I'm going to show you this I do have that could work really well in the morning, and everybody's a little different, but these are overnight oats, and these work really well, especially if you're struggling, like you need something light in the stomach, but you can make these yourself. 20 grams of protein, 45 grams of carbs. They do add, I'll read it to you, certified gluten-free whole grain oats, protein is whey protein concentrate. Now, my preference is it would be protein isolate, but I'll give them a fly on this one because it's a product and isolate's better. Maple It has maple sugar and it's breakfast cocoa powder and it's chia seeds, peanut flour, date flour, flaxseed, dried bananas, Himalayan pink salt. So this has it only has 100 milligrams of sodium in it, and then vanilla powder and monk fruit. That's pretty clean. That's way better than brown syrup and brown, what is it, brown sugar, maple syrup, apples and cinnamon. I'll tell you, if you're making your own oatmeal, oh my gosh, you could, if you don't have a dairy allergy, or if you just have a sensitivity to lactose, you could use Fairlife milk, and that I do have with me. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Grabbing my Fairlife milk. So now you don't have to do the whole. They have skimmer 1% because I like to keep saturated fat under 10% of your total caloric intake a day. So 12 ounces of Fairlife milk has 20 grams of protein and no lactose in it. So some people have issues with lactose. That's the carb part. Now, if this still gave you gas or bloating, then you actually have a sensitivity to the whey or casein, and then you have to go plant-based. And then you can make oatmeal. You put oatmeal with it, and then you can put applesauce and cinnamon. And the applesauce is what makes it sweet. Unsweetened applesauce in regular oatmeal is divine with cinnamon. Okay. And then that could give you your protein. And then I would put in chia seeds or flax or, sunflower seeds, chop them, slivered. You don't have to put, you can eat them separate. I don't care how you eat it. Another option that's not, that doesn't have the lactose, but they are one of my faves because it does have fiber. It sweetens with stevia and monk fruit. It takes out the lactose, but puts in a serving of fruit. Tends to work really well with most people. Now, let's see, I don't have it. Only what you need is a OWYN is a plant-based shake if you wanted to use that on the go, or Gain has plant-based, and those are pea protein, not soy, and they also have like animal based like whey and that kind of stuff. So those are options too. So that's how you could do that. And then just make sure you munch and nibble when you play. Peanut butter pretzels work really good. Just try to get the ones without the added sugar or minimal, because those are sustained energy. Healthy fats like to keep your energy levels constant. In softball, you can get away with that. You can just nibble and drink and then head back out there. You're a sport that can definitely do that. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very long-winded. I script my talk, because otherwise we'd be here for 2 hours.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go for it.
Great. So I'm 77. I'm sort of a runner.
Okay.
I do mostly 10Ks. I'm going to do my first half in the fall. And I'm an easy keeper. I don't know if you know what that means. That's a horse term.
Okay.
If I see grass, I gain weight. Okay. So I carb up 3 days before a race, which works great.
Okay.
However, I gain easily 4 pounds. And then when I come back, I go back to work. So there's a certain recovery thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I need the energy. So the weight loss is like 4 times longer than the weight gain because I'm back to work, right? Is there any way, and I've asked a lot of people about this, nobody seems to have an answer, because I gain weight on 1,700 calories a day. And even if I'm running long distances, it cuts me very little slack. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do
questions I have.
No, I love it. It's a loaded question in a good way. So first it depends on your blood work, because there's things that can interfere with weight loss. Okay. The thing about weight loss or just getting leaner, it's not just about counting calories in, calories out. So step one is, like blood work on things that interfere, right? Thyroid. Now, if you just get a TSH, T as in thyroid stimulating hormone, if that's all they've done, that's only 25% of the equation. You need a TSH, a T4, a T3, and a one-time TPO. TPO is the only one that can diagnose Hashimoto's, which is a severe thyroid condition. I don't want to scare anybody. It's not like, oh my gosh, something's going to happen wrong with you. It's just that it gets misdiagnosed, and there is, help with that. And once you know that, if there are thyroid issues, then I usually have people go gluten-free. Other things, and gluten-free does usually attack anything you have. Second is looking at hormones, looking at gut health, looking at stress, looking at sleep, all impact how we get leaner and our metabolism. And so gaining 4 pounds in 3 days, it makes me a little nervous because it almost sounds like a severe food allergy or sensitivity. And when I say
the calories just keep going through the roof when I start to shift to sweet potatoes, pasta, the stuff.
But how much fuel are you intaking in the 3 days daily?
Well, that's what your definition. I don't know how to say fuel. I've calories.
It's calories. How much you were doing 17? How much fuel would you eat? 23?
25.
Yeah, that's not going to cause 4 pounds of weight gain in 3 days, right? Yeah. So honestly, I hear that and I'm like, yeah, but whatever you're eating, you probably have a sensitivity to. And some of us have a gene that don't process starch very well. So you might be better adding fruit and yogurt for your carbs and see how that works.
That's great.
Yeah, because some people do way better with carbs from fruit and yogurt and not as much on like the potatoes and the oatmeal, right?
Brilliant.
You should not gain that much weight. Something's wrong there.
Number 2, because a lot of what you do is like over here. So I'm just sort of very basic and clean. My second thing is improving the VO2, which seems to be an essential ingredient for running faster, right? We process oxygen faster. And so if I run over, my heartbeat runs over 152 to 5, I start getting lactic acid as an issue. So, I mean, if my VO2 was higher, I wouldn't go up that fast if you get my gist. So I've had it tested. I'm like a 33, I'm 77 years old. And, the stars have like VO2s of 47, even at this age.
Yeah.
Well, in relationship to how we're eating to improve that particular aspect of
the VO2. I will tell you, it can. But if I said basic, it's going to be more about training, how in shape you are, how fast you are. Those kinds of things will impact VO2 the most.
Right.
And then nutrition wise is more about being leaner. And also, what could impact your oxygen output? That's, again, aerobic
and anaerobic things.
Yeah, there's more things there.
And it's been improving with it over a couple of years. So I get the gist of it. I just was surely hoping for a shortcut.
I will tell you
knows all about that.
A shortcut that could possibly help is the beets, because it does increase blood flow. And if you can increase blood flow, then that does help deliver more oxygen. And then the super patch actually has a defend patch. I would pair it with the victory, because the defend patch, I've seen the research and it's so fascinating, where they take the blood of somebody and then they just put the patch on, and one person did blood work in 10 minutes. Another person, they showed it in 45 minutes, and they took the blood work and they put it under a microscope, and the red blood cells were like clumpy and not that they're supposed to be perfectly round to perfectly round.
Yeah.
And they were older. And that is going to help that. Those are 2 quick ones.
You're smart. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep. You did me. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Anybody else have questions? It's time to go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi, Don. I got a question for you. So
good.
Thanks for all this. Everything's very interesting, and especially like the super patch and all that stuff. That's very intriguing. So as I did a marathon in the fall last year, and then took some time off, chilled, and then just like did some workout stuff. And then I started, yeah, kind of like getting ready for a 5K, and then I'll start marathon training in the fall. So like
Yeah.
August or something, I'll start getting ready for that. I feel like I have a nutrition plan that's been working. It's pretty similar to the one you wrote for me, even whatever,
I
12,
bet.
15 years ago. Yeah, very similar, and it still works, so I use it. But I also started taking some creatine this time around. I'd used it in the past with success for strength training, but I'd always gained about 6 pounds of water every time I go on creatine monad. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
And
it holds
so
water.
yeah, and so when I would run, I wanted to be lighter, so I wouldn't take creatine while running, so I could
Okay.
drop 6 pounds. But this time around, I'm taking creatine monohydrate, and I'm doing 10 grams in the morning just to see if it's any different than the 5 I used to take, and I think it's helping. But do you have any recommendation on dosage or timing, or 5 milligrams better than 10, better
Yeah.
than whatever?
Now, I tend to stick with 5 grams, unless you have a lot of lean weight. And when I mean a lot of lean weight, like The Rock, like
Yeah, I'm not
you
The
have
Rock.
like
I'm
you're not,
not, we can rule that
like
out.
220 pounds. I had a Bengals player, 236 pounds of lean weight, weighed
Yeah,
256, right? That's
that's not my
somebody who would,
problem. No.
right? So I would stick with 5. Understand creatine, there's awesome research on the brain and creatine. So what it does though, you're like, I don't want that weight, but I will share with you this. That is water weight. And so what it does is it just helps get the water also into the muscle cell. And that's where that shift is. It's all water, it's all lean. I still wouldn't do more than 5. I think you might be wasting it. And if
Okay.
you
Okay.
stopped using it, I don't know. I would challenge you this time to keep it oops, because it helps with hydration. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the 70s, being hydrated, drinking during your activity before they had the newer research was, hey, don't drink during your training. It's bad. But they gave them salt tablets. And because I go, why didn't they die? Why do we hear all these football players dying? Because they weren't drinking, and they saved their lives because they said, here's salt tablets instead. So it took that water out of the bloodstream and stuck it into the muscle cell, even though they were dehydrated, if this makes sense. But because the water was in the muscle tissue, it actually helped them. So I would challenge you, John, not to take it out and see how you do this time around, because that's water in the muscle, which affects recovery, repair. You're going to be more hydrated. So when you go out and perform, you might actually perform better, even though you
Yeah,
think it's lighter. I'm like, well, actually, you're leaner because it's water. I don't know. It's something to think about.
I think it's been helpful because I used to do strength training and running, and after a few weeks or months of it, I'd be so banged up that
Yeah.
one would have to give.
Mm-hmm.
So far around, I'm not running really far yet, so it's
Okay.
pretty short, 5 miles, 7 miles, something like
Yeah.
that. But with the strength training, I'm keeping with it. Like I'm able to recover and all, so it's working so far. So,
Yeah. And I will
but I
tell,
can
yeah,
I
go
can
ahead.
switch
Sorry.
to 5 milligrams.
Yeah,
Part
I
of my
would.
rationale was
5
like
grams. It's 5
5
grams, not
grams. I'm
milligrams.
sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, 5 grams.
Sorry, like a
Uh,
teaspoon. Teaspoon's 4, but your thumb.
Yeah, and so I've been doing 2 scoops just because it's actually pretty cheap. It's like
Oh, yeah.
whatever, like 500 grams is like $20. So I'm just like, well, I'll do 2, whatever. So
Yeah, well,
I've spent way more money on other stuff,
yeah.
besides that.
Yeah.
And then piggybacking on that, the super patch stuff is pretty intriguing.
It
I'm
is.
obviously brand new. I've never heard of it before. You're the first person to bring this up. Where does someone like start? Like, what's like their base
On the super
patch or
patch?
like, yeah, like,
Yeah, a victory for almost everybody on this call because it helps
okay,
with force, strength, power, and you're not as sore. I will
okay,
tell you, it also helped my brain. I just felt better. It was one like small things. But I definitely, the longer you wear it, you got to give it a minimum of 30 days. But with Nancy, when you say your metabolism isn't working that great, I would recommend the Victory and the Ignite, because when I put those two together, I personally just like by week 2, I could tell I wasn't as hungry, and I felt like I was like, oh, I like certain things, right? And I have a certain, habits, but
I
it was just,
can not be hungry. That's so I can eat very
oh,
little. That's
yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah.
Unless
Well,
unless Ben and Jerry's is in the refrigerator, but otherwise, otherwise I'm pretty okay with
yeah, but it's just one that it does help. It might help metabolism up to
yeah,
25%. So,
it's called Victory and Ignite.
and this is Ignite, yeah. And you
Ignite.
wear them together. I put them on the top of my feet.
Okay.
So I find they work the best there because I wear socks and then they stay. And here's the deal. If you take a shower and they're still on, I'm all about being economical. So don't rip them off and put new ones on, because it's not a drug. It's not a supplement. It's it's just that's the fingerprint that the skin is reading to the brain. It's so fascinating. And my son has ADHD, and we do the piece. I want to put Victory on, but I'm like, I feel like we've been playing around with it just recently, and he scored way better on his test. And this is a 12-year-old. You can't fake that. So he goes, yeah, it's just easier for me to think and be focused. And so there you go. And they even have a Lumi patch. So if somebody has really bad acne or eczema or whatever, I mean, somebody's thinking about that. Anyways, there you go on that. But
That's a good idea. Thank you.
yeah, that's an easy one. You just put it on your skin. That's an easy fix. We're looking for easy. Can't get any easier than that. So
Victory patch is a good
yeah,
place to
Victory
start.
for sure. I get kind of crazed. Here's why. Victory, no matter what, for everybody on here, Victory. You got to have a base patch. I've learned this because he started off with hockey players because he had the Victory and it was Liberty, and he thought it had to come from the bottom of your feet. So they would wear these socks with the fingerprint code on it. But then he found out you don't have to have it on your bottom of your feet. You can have it anywhere on your skin that you have feeling. So that just changed everything. But the base really does help the base if you want everything else. If it was competition day, and that's in the handout, Defend is blood flow. That is a competitive advantage. I have an Olympic swimmer. She just went pro. I started with her when she was 13. She's now 21. And she was at the Olympics this summer, and she's ocean, right? So 2 hours in the ocean. So just last month she swam, I don't know what country and what ocean. Imagine 2 hours in the water. You get to the very end. She was second place, and this girl came from third and beat her by, I need you to hear this, 0.01.
Ouch.
0.01. 2 hours swimming in the ocean. So my brain, when I heard those, and I seen the pictures, I've actually saw I've talked to the person who's done those tests. My brain goes, oh my gosh, that's a competitive advantage. That's to defend, but that's good for everyone, because blood flow brings nutrition. That's your nourishment. That's what gets your body to recover, repair. That's nourishment for your brain. It's circulatory, right? If we can't get the oxygen or blood flow or hydration to where it needs to go, that's what breaks us down. So if I was competing, definitely then Victory and Defend, but then there's Peace, and Peace helps gut and gut's a big thing for us to stay healthy and stay blood flow, but it also helps keep you calm. And it's helpful if you know somebody that's just really anxious. Like you just want to patch them up because you're like, oh, let me calm you down, because they stress you out because they're thinking about next year, or what should we eat for dinner at, my mom will ask me this, like, it's now May, and if I come in July, she's like, what do you want to eat for dinner when you come visit? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like 6 weeks away. I can't think about eating dinner in July. So it helps calm, but it also helps calm the parasympathetic and sympathetic. So if you're somebody who has a struggle falling asleep or overthinking things, but it also helps you heal. And again, those are just things that I kind of keep looking at going, wow, if I had unlimited income, I would wear all three of those because they work on all three fronts. The gut, help you stay calm, also recover and repair. You got victory with strength, force, power, also help recovery and repair. And then the defend is blood flow. So, but yeah, just really fascinating. And I'm really excited about it because it's nothing I've ever seen. I've never been able to help with the neurology part, right? If somebody says they have ADHD or ADD or they struggle with anxiety or depression, I acknowledge that. And I try to fish oil, vitamin D, your iron could be low if somebody's feeling really tired or sluggish. But now it's like, hey, try this, see if it works for you. And I'm not joking. If I had $30,000 to $50,000, I'd have that device you just put on your head, and it will actually would measure your success even in a month. So proof is in the testing. So, all right. Any other question? I put my contact information just in case, because you guys, this was a presentation, all this AI stuff. Oh my word, a whole different platform. Oh, and then I didn't even put my information on the slide. So please forgive me. I know I kind of sounded like a robot a little bit, but I really can get off kilter and wanted to get to this part so you could ask me questions. So
Where do we find the patch information?
if you go to the chat, I actually put the link in there where you can get, if you use that link too. Oh, please tell me I put it in there. I might not have. I thought I copied and pasted it. I didn't. Hold on. Let me see if oh, there it is. I just forgot to paste it in.
Okay.
That actually gets you 25% off if you choose to use that link. They do have something where if you buy 3, get 1 free. Just if you're interested in that, I just have somebody else. I could have her talk to you guys, but because if you think I say use it for a minimum 8 months because I can send you a link on the even text it to you. It's really cool on the brain and how it works. And who doesn't need more brain health? I need brain health. So. Where's my phone? Oh, it's right in my hand. I don't know if you've had that happen, but I've done it. So my 12-year-old thinks I'm a little loopy sometimes, but that has actually gotten a lot better, even with these 2 patches, and that's kind of bizarre. So, all right. Any other questions for me, you guys? No? Well, it's a pleasure. I know, John, it blesses my heart you're on today. I can't believe it because I'm serious. He was the client who came in my office 15 years ago. So for him to be here tonight, for some of you who don't know me, hopefully I didn't scare you away. And hopefully you learned some things tonight, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank
Fuel
you.
your goals and dreams, you guys. You got this. It's fixable. It's fixable. We can do it. All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.